My ALP inquiry set out to determine whether or not YA Lit can help build a bridge to the classics. Through student surveys and interviews, I explored the idea of pairing YA Lit and classic novels containing similar themes. In a survey, students were asked a variety of questions pertaining to both contemporary YA Lit and books taught in their English classrooms. When students were asked whether or not they enjoy reading YA novels, overwhelmingly they answered yes. Here are just a few of their responses. Yes, there is a lot of variety and the stories are often imaginative. Yes, my favorite books make me feel like I live in the story world and personally know and love all of the characters. Through this, especially with fantasy books, I can have experiences that I've never had in real life. I love the genre, especially because it is very relevant to me, and I can relate to the characters and oftentimes the plots. They read smoother to me than a lot of adult novels because of the relatable level, and oftentimes they can have just as much literary merit as adult fiction. When students were asked if they were ever required to read a YA novel in their English classroom, 43% of students responded yes, and 57% responded no. Additionally, they were asked if they thought it was advantageous for teachers to pair a contemporary YA Lit novel with a classic novel that is similar in theme. An overwhelming 79% responded yes, 14% responded possibly or I don't know, and only 7% responded no. So, it seems like using YA Lit as a bridge to the classics is indeed a bright idea. One student's honest and insightful response to whether or not YA Lit has a place in the English classroom, possibly, if not presented in such a way that young adults fall out of love with reading even the interesting material. Additionally, another student's response to whether or not an English teacher ever assigned a contemporary YA novel as required reading, yes, the book was good, but he made us dissect it in the most irritating of ways. These two responses indicate that teachers need to exercise caution when using YA Lit as a bridge to the classics. They must avoid teaching the young adult novel, and instead let students make their own text-to-text connections. Based on my broader research, I then focused my inquiry specifically on using Jan Teller's Nothing as a bridge to William Golding's Lord of the Flies.
Nothing to Lord of the Flies. It's really interesting because they're both similar in the fact that the kids kind of go crazy after a while. And I can compare the differences, like, how the kids kind of turn on themselves. And you can take the kind of, the themes and the psychological issues going on and compare them, and it makes the Lord of the Flies, more colorful.
I think they both have a lot to do with the destruction, not of just humanity, but with human beings ourselves. We are not a civilized people. We make ourselves civilized. We underneath all of that we are savage, and we like to put a face on it. We like to say pretty please and thank you, but that's not who we are. Underneath that, we are savage people, and we will do what we feel we need to survive. And in Nothing, they did what they felt they needed to find the meaning, the supposed meaning of everything. And in Lord of the Flies, they did it to survive, really.
Both students were able to make thematic connections between Nothing and Lord of the Flies. And the second student went so far as not only making a text-to-text connection, but text-to-self and text-to-world connections too. So, what have I learned through my ALP? If teachers take the time to thoughtfully pair novels like Nothing and Lord of the Flies, contemporary YA Lit can indeed bridge classical literature. YA Lit's relatability factor fosters a better comprehension of theme, which in turn can be applied to more difficult classical texts. Young adults enjoy YA Lit, but teachers must be careful not to spoil students' enjoyment. Finally, YA Lit can help students transition to classical literature through a stronger sense of story, theme, and empathy.